review of the ASG CZ75 P-07 Duty CO2 pistol. What you get in the box when you get it is nice manual. Pretty straightforward with everything. It's all pretty good English. Just it shows you what you got to do for the gun. You get a little Allen wrench to adjust the hop up. I'll show you where that is. And you get the pistol. Now, what you have here on the pistol, which I will try to zoom in and show you guys what everything has here, is this is a very nice heavyweight pistol. Has a safety right here, and it pretty easy to put in, take on and off. Has a mag catch release here on the side. Real easy to get to. It does have a thicker pistol grip here, and the back strap is a little heavy. For a bigger size hand, it fits good. In my hand, it feels pretty good. One thing you'll notice too is this big trigger that it has right here. I guess that's for if you have a glove or something like that. It seems to go in there pretty good. Very nice sights on it. It has the yellow, we're going to zoom in on that one too, white angle there so you can see through, and it has white dot on the front for good target acquisition. Mag release is pretty straightforward, and it is pretty good for the mag to come out. To put the CO2 in, you have a button on the back here that you push down, and this whole back strap comes off. Now, here is the thumb screw to tighten it up, and as you can see, I already have a CO2 pistol or CO2 cartridge in there. To reinsert the back strap, you just put it in top first, and then it just clips in, load your mag, ready to rock and roll. And if you notice, it does have a good grip. My finger is right on the bottom of that mag, and it's got a good grip to it. 16 round mag. Has the follower, allows you to pull it down and hook it off to the side so that you can load the BBs. One of the tricks that I do is, because I put my finger over the front here, of course you don't want to hit the follower, you put your finger over the front here, and then you just load the BBs in, and they'll just fall down through there. It does hold 16 rounds, which works out pretty well. I actually got 2 extra mags with it, so I shouldn't have any problems. I like the feel of the gun. Heavyweight. It does have this rail on the front in case you want to put a laser or an optic. Now, there are a couple of downsides to it, depending on the person. If you have a smaller hand, this might not be for you. It might be a little too thick for you to grip. If you have shorter fingers, getting to the slide release up on top, I have to turn the gun a little bit to be able to release it, which is not a big deal, but it does have a good release. And it does have a very satisfying retort. That's what a brand new CO2. Crisp action, really nice. Does have some like markings on the side here, and I'm going to zoom in on this so you can see. It has serial numbers on the top here, and some nice lettering on here. Okay, on the back side, it actually has various things on here, and it has the CZ Duty P-07 markings on there. The gun Doesn't have a way to remove the slide that I can see unless there's a pin set up or something to take it apart. I didn't want to mess around with it. But it does have some really nice features. Now, for the negative parts, the trigger pull on this is very long. And I'm going to show you, and I might zoom in on this a little bit as well. The trigger pull, I'm going to use my opposite finger. When you're pulling the trigger, and I got to do it with this finger. When you pull the trigger, it goes all the way back there. See how far of a travel that's got? And then, well, it helps if I take it off safe. There you go. If you pull it all the way back, it doesn't fire till it's almost up against the frame there. You can manually release by holding the trigger down, the hammer down, and manually release it, put it back on safe. And it does have a locks the trigger out, so you can't press it on safe. You could get used to that trigger pull, I guess. The only other thing, like I said too, is the wider grip. Somebody might not like the wider grip or this gnarled texture on there. If you're wearing a glove, this will actually work out good. One other thing which you can probably see right here is this has a lanyard spot, but this is also the button to remove the back strap. And even when the mag is in there, it's flush with that, but I'm wondering that if you bump that, that would fall off. I was thinking about maybe putting on a grip over the top of this or a Velcro or something just to keep that tight, just in case you accidentally bump that. Or maybe even, I don't know, shave that down a little bit so it's only a little bit of a nub. You don't need that big of a nub. But that's very small things. We're going to do some chronos here on the bench, and we're going to do some shooting tests too. Alright, so we are going to start by putting some CO2 in here and see how it sits. The second part of this review is going to be on this ASG UltrAir. The big thing with this is that it says CO2 lubrication cartridges, helps lubricate the internal seals and O-rings, used for every 10th standard CO2 cartridge. So I'm going to put this in as the first cartridge going in here. I'm going to open them up, and in this particular case there are 5 cartridges in here. So we're going to start with just the first one, and then after this I'll put regular cartridges in once we run it out. Unscrew it a little bit. Now, because it has its own lubrication on here, I am not going to put on the Pelgon oil like I normally do. Cartridges just slips in there. Got to loosen it up a little bit more, and slides right in there. I suggest a lot of times on these to put the cap back on it. This might be in the way tightening it up, but then you're sure that it's going to line up. Now, you can even do it without it. Let's see, it's got a little thumb screw. There, I heard the assist and went a little bit more, and that was it. So it's tight, it's in there. Okay, we're going to see if we got how it shoots. Really good snap. Trigger down, safe on. Gun's ready to rock and roll. That's with the UltrAir in there. That's a brand new cartridge. So the next thing we're going to review part of this is their Devil BBs, .25s. I'm going to be messing around with these just to see how they shoot out of this gun and how they chrono. So what we're going to do, take the mag out, we're going to crack these open, and my little handy dandy 180 round speed loader, we're going to fill it up about halfway because we're going to load it a couple of times. Now, I like this cartridge, and ASG did a really good job on this. It has, and I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this part. See if I can get it right. It has a little slide here and a little locking position here. When you slide this forward, you can lock it on the side and be able to put the BBs in. Now, the trick that I did for another mag like this is I usually hold my finger on this side, take your speed loader, and just drop them in there. Okay, and we're full. And you just release, ready to rock and roll. Okay, I didn't count that, but I really should, so we get an idea how many BBs are actually in there. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 rounds in here. That's going to be excellent. So we're going to get up the Chrono box here, and we're going to see what the FPS is on this. You're just going to have to trust me on this one, because I was going to set the camera up and do all this moving around, and I'm like, I don't feel like doing it. So what we're going to do, load the mag up, cock, off safe, and I have the Chrono set up for 0.25, so we're going to give it a shot and see what we get for Chrono. 318, 319, 313, 348, 296, 340, 338, 334, 334, and 327. Back on safe. Alright, we're all over the place. I think it was the gas getting into the system and shooting for the first time. So we're averaging anywhere from about 330 to about 345, which is excellent. And this is with 0.25s, so you're going to be perfect for even a CQB environment. It does have a really loud retort, but one thing that I am noticing here, and I will show you this once I shut off the Chrono and get everything moved around. One thing to note here, and I'll put it in front of the camera, you're not going to be able to see it, but there's a slight film on the top of the magazine, I guess from the lubricated CO2. I think that's a nice touch that's going to actually work pretty good. So we have our CZ75 duty, 16 round mag, and we're going to be shooting at 65 feet, which is that blue center target. And we're going to zoom in a little bit, just see how horrible I am at shooting at it. Okay. Okay, that's the whole mag. Okay, just add a note, it's really easy to load the 16 rounds with that little clip that goes over to the side. Now we're going to be shooting at Pine Tree this time, which is basically 100 feet. I don't think I can hit the pan, but I'm going to give it a shot, see if I can get close to it. Using the 0.25 Blaster Devil BBs from ASG. I am horrible at looks like the hop up is too far on now. I guess it's wearing in. I turned it up because it was dropping, but now it seems like it's going way up. I'm going to try it again. I only put about 10 rounds in, so let's see how we're doing again here. It. Hop up still seems like it's a little bit up, but we do have a really strong wind, so that might be knocking it off a little bit. I decided to go back to the 65 feet because the wind is just major strong here. So let's just see how I do on the 65 again. You can tell the CO2 is going down a little bit. Seems pretty accurate though. BBs are okay. Okay, we're going to take out the mag. Okay, make sure everything's clear. Fire into my chamber down here. Okay, nothing in there. Alright, I am going to zoom in on this so you guys get a quick look on this. Alright, that might be good. Now I'm going to use my other finger so I can show you. The trigger pull is like extremely long. Okay, now when I was doing it before, I'm going to do it this way so you can see if you can see it better. I don't know if you're going to be able to see me, but there I'm all the way, I'm almost touching back here, and then it shoots. So if you were grabbing the gun and you were pulling the trigger in, if you took a full finger on it or a small part of your finger on it, if you took a full finger on it, it's going to go almost all the way back before it goes off. So it is a very long trigger pull, which is not a big deal. Depends on how well it shoots and how you want to adjust it. One other thing to note, when you pull this back, lock the slide in place, the hop-up adjustment is right here on the top. Oops, sorry. Is right here on the top. And they do give you an included Allen key to adjust the hop-up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out and do some shooting now. And I'm going to pre-adjust the hop-up for the .25s that we're using, and the Red Devil BBs, or Big Devil, I think these are called. Blaster Devil, I'm sorry, Blaster Devil .25s that we're going to be using. Okay, so hold on. Okay, we're going to try it. I got 7 mags out of that UltrAir cartridge. And I put a brand new CO2 cartridge in here, a Crossman, and I loaded up with 16 rounds. And we're going to do a Chrono with 2.5 Blaster Devil BBs. See, these right here. See what we get now with this kind of CO2 cartridge. .332 for the first 3. It kept going out. 332, 311, 332, 311, 287, 321, 322, 321, 322. Gotta reset the Chrono again, it's having a problem. 316, and that was it. Alright, so we're averaging a little bit less with the Crossman CO2 cartridges, only in the 320s, where we're getting 330 to 340, now we're only getting 320 to 325. So that's interesting. I like that. So I'm gonna go do some shooting tests. That was 1 mag, and let's see how many mags I get out of this actual CO2 cartridge. So I just tried this cartridge, and as you can see, still got a little bit of snap back in there, but when it's shooting the BBs, it just doesn't want to move them anymore. So that was 7 mags I ran through here with a regular CO2 cartridge. The UltrAir had a little bit more snap on the 7th cartridge, but it ended, and I wouldn't have got an 8th cartridge. This, they were barely coming out on the regular CO2 on the 7th cartridge. So UltrAir did win a little bit more, has a little bit more extra oomph to it. So it does get a little bit more. And I have 5 of those cartridges, so it says every 10 cartridges put one in. So that is going to be something that I'm going to be doing from time to time. I'm going to put these on the side. All in all, good gun, and that was just a follow-up.
What the fuck was that?
Okay, I came back inside. I basically got 6 mags out of 1 CO2 in the gun. It actually still has some CO2 in here, but it just doesn't have a lot of snap left. I might be able to get another mag out of it. I got 6 mags out of it, which was great. Maybe somebody thinks they should get more, but the FPS is really low on this one. I did try some Elite Force as well, and I got about the same results. So these Blaster Devil Airsoft BBs are doing pretty good. These are 0.25, and it says tolerance plus or minus 0.01 millimeters. So that's actually pretty good. I like the bottle too. It's a real heavy-duty bottle, wide neck on it. They seem to be pretty good. They're lubricated, very no defects that much I can see. I looked at quite a bit of them, and they looked okay. I didn't see anything major wrong with them. No misfeeds. Gun worked phenomenal shooting. The only big thing I could say is there was a lot of wind, so it's really hard for me to adjust. And I was messing around with the hop up a little bit. It's a little bit all over the place, but I think it's going to break in. It'll be fine. I had it actually on too much, and the BBs were like going right up in the air. So I might run my 2/8, which is what I normally run in most of my guns. If I'm running my Polar Star, I'm going to be running 2/8. You know, and even my MP5 I run 2/8. And I usually carry a bottle of 2.5s with me just to load up the pistol. And if I have 3 mags, which I do, I'll just load the 3 mags up, 16 rounds each. If I'm down to the mag to shooting the pistol, we got an issue. So now the next cartridge I'm going to put in here, I'm going to put the regular CO2 cartridge in here, and I bet you we're going to get a lot more snap out of it, and it's probably going to work out pretty good. Safe, take out the mag. Actually, I'm liking this gun quite a bit. It's a little heavy though, which I'm noticing a lot. It's a lot heavier than my other CZ75, but I'm liking the bigger trigger guard, the way that the CO2 goes in, the magazines, CO2 in the gun. You know, it's a little, you know, you don't get as many shots out of it as you would having the CO2 in the mag, but this is a little bit better setup than the original CZ75. I like these mags that they hold so you can load the BBs in them, and they're similar as my TT33 CO2 mags as well. The UltrAir CO2 cartridges, I think it's going to be good. Now I've run it through. It's almost out. I'm going to try to run another mag. I've got 6 mags. I'm sure I can get a 7th one, but the FPS is really low. I'm sure I can get a 7th mag out of there. Regular CO2 cartridges should work phenomenal in this. Have to mess around a little bit with the hop up to break in, but I was hitting the target 65 feet, which is basically what I'm going to be shooting at when you get in close anyway. I was shooting out to 100 feet, and it would get close enough to the target. You might be able to hit somebody. It just has to play around with the hop up a little bit. So as a replacement pistol for one that broke, that I was sent, excellent customer service, by the way, by ASG. This is a good pistol. I like the idea that I got 3 mags with it, which is a plus. A heavyweight pistol, really nice looking pistol. Got a lot of. It's really snappy. I like that it's got a hop up adjustment right on the top there. The CO2 goes in relatively easy. So all of that's positive. Now the only cons that I can see are the long trigger pull, which you can get used to, and this little spot in the back where the lanyard would go on is actually what you press to pull this pistol end cap, or however you want to say, backstrap. I'm sorry, backstrap. That's the only thing that might be a little bit. Having the lanyard on that, you might end up pulling this off and the pistol falls. I think in future versions, if you do this, this is nice having the little button here, but maybe put the lanyard to something else so that it actually stays on there a little bit if you are trying to hook something up with a lanyard. It has a very large mag release, okay, but unlike the other CZ75 I have, it comes out slow. If you had it at an angle or straight up in a holster, it'll come loose, but it doesn't fall out unless that mag release is kept pressed. So I guess if you were in a universal holster like this one, which is what I'm going to do with these, fits nice. And if you're laying on the ground trying to press it, it does press in and fall out. It's like any mag, though. I guess you've got to get used to how you have it placed and where it's at. If I have this across draw from my right hand across on my rig, when I'm laying down and crawling around, I'm going to be pressing on it, so it's probably going to fall out. If you're wearing it like a regular holster on the right hand side, I think you should be pretty good, although you lean against a tree or something like that and it does come loose and can come out. Alright, I assume they're pretty inexpensive, but I'd have to check and see the price on the mags on this. So other than getting some kind of retention to keep this in place so it doesn't fall out, it's like all pistol mags, they can fall out. This is a really good pistol. Yeah, see, this one at least doesn't shoot out. If you press it, it sort of comes loose, but it locks in place if you take the pressure off it, so it can't come out unless you're actually pressing it again. So that's not too bad. Probably going to run this in a different type of holster just to see how it works. So this is the replacement for this. Two excellent pistols from ASG. I really like the way this one shoots. This one has a smaller grip for my hand, and it's a rubberized texture grip, where this one has a little bit longer, wider grip, and it's a little gnarled grip textured on here, which would really be good if you're biting in with a glove. Okay, and it does have a little textured spot here in the center. Not for the slide, but it would be a good spot to keep your finger in case you're keeping it off the trigger when you're moving. With a glove, you could go there and slide in and be able to pull the trigger. Good gun. Good combination of UltrAir with the gun, first time through. And the Blaster Devil BBs, I'll probably use these in this pistol at an upcoming op that we got. And we have a training coming up, so I might be running these in this pistol all day. The two pistols, just to see how they shoot. Good snag. I like it. You know, it's a good replacement for the one that I broke, and I still have the other one now that I bought, so it's a win-win for me. Hope that helps some people on the review get an idea of the Blaster BBs. They're pretty decent. The UltrAir from ASG and the CZ75 Duty that they have. It's a CO2. I am going to probably chrono it, and I might put some in the description. I might put a regular CO2 cartridge in here to see if I get any more, a higher FPS out of it. I'll add that to the description if I do that. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and you guys all have a good day.